As is our custom, what we like to do at these plenary sessions is thank and acknowledge the sponsors of our conference. And this morning, I'd like to thank the Federal Home Loan Banks. And to make a couple of remarks in behalf of the Federal Home Loan Banks, I'd like to introduce David Jeffers. He's the Executive Vice President of Policy and Public Affairs for the Council of Federal Home Loan Banks. Dave is the Executive Vice President, as I said, of Policy and Public Affairs. He's based here in Washington, D.C. The Council is the public voice of the Federal Home Loan Banks. Prior to joining the Council in January of 2011, Jeffers was President and CEO of Collingwood Communications, a Washington-based strategic communications company focused on financial services, housing, and the mortgage industry. Previously, he was Vice President for Corporate Relations at Fannie Mae, where he served as a strategic advisor to 3 CEOs. For the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, Jeffers conceived and oversaw the launch of the center's Millennial Stage, which, by the way, I enjoy very often, David. Thank you very much. Designed to open the doors of the Kennedy Center to everyone by hosting free performances every evening of the year. You see, I'm one of those cheapos. I go to those performances that are free. So, Dave, thank you.
Thank you, Moises. Thank you. By the way, I want to just say that no one in this town does a better job of advocating and representing and doing the work of Washington than Moises. And he does it with hard work and passion and great judgment and tremendous integrity. So I just want to thank him. So I've worked and lived in this town all my life, and I know that it's very high up in the rule book not to keep a member of Congress or a cabinet secretary waiting. So I will keep my remarks. And you also, no one comes to one of these events wanting to hear the sponsor speak, so I'll keep it brief. And also, Moises made a suggestion that I simply just say, thank you for your partnership, and we'll increase our funding next year, and then walk off the stage. But I'm not going to say that. So, I would like to make 3 very quick points. One is thank you for your friendship and partnership. The Federal Home Loan Banks and the 12 Federal Home Loan Banks and their 7,000 members are very honored to have in their mission a top priority of rural housing and rural community development. It always has been and will always be a priority for us. And we're very honored to have the mission of providing liquidity and funding to all communities through our members. Point 2, and since I paid for the microphone, as one president once said, there is an issue that is very concerning to us right now that I won't go into detail, but I will say that we are regulated by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, a very well-run agency that we have a very positive and productive relationship with, led by the distinguished Mel Watt, who we have enormous respect for. They have proposed what we believe is a regulation that is anti-liquidity, and we believe it's ill-advised. And I won't go into detail, but if we do believe that if it's passed, it will shrink the amount of funding and liquidity that we are able to provide through our members to communities for jobs and economic growth and housing. So if you have any concern about that, we would appreciate your comment by the end of the comment period, which is January 12th. And finally, we and my colleague, Kurt Height, who many of you know, who's here, who's worked closely with many of you for many years, if there's anything we can do to improve what we do for you and your communities, and with your partnerships with local community banks and thrifts and credit unions and the members of the home loan banks, please tell us, because we want to know how we can be even better partners with you. Thank you very much for having us.